Bonjour mon petit chifleux. Bonjour Beehive, welcome back. I'm so excited to be starting this vlog. I'm not even going to preamble. And we're reading Oathbound. We are reading Oathbound. We are reading the third Legendborn book. I'm about to be insufferable. I have been waiting over a month to read this book. I just scratched myself in the face. I have had it, I've been looking at it for an entire month and have not been able to pick it up because I've been doing a whole other themed vlog. I have been fighting for my life, avoiding spoilers for this book. And because I did a full spoiler vlog for Bloodmarked, I thought it was only right to come back for Oathbound. Look how large this book is. Tracy. Okay. Speaking of Tracy, like I said, I've had this book for a month. Last month, I went to the launch for this. Got to see Tracy again. It was a whole ordeal. Hopefully you will have watched last month's vlog and have seen the clips. Maybe I'll insert them here too, just because this is what this vlog is all about.
Tracy Dion and #1 New York Times bestselling author Chloe Gong.
Reading from the beginning for people who've been here for a couple of years, here being the Legendborn Cycle world, to see how this book and how Bree herself grows. You know, like the book grows Bree just because her story and her decisions always grow her, but she herself is just growing and the world is growing and getting bigger and deeper and more complicated.
Before I can read Oathbound though, I need to do a bit of rereading. So I'm going to actually start this vlog with a quick audio reread of Legendborn and Bloodmarked just to reacclimate myself so I remember where we are, so I can remember how much we hate Tor. I'm not ready. I'm so not ready, but here we are.
Simon & Schuster Audio presents Legendborn by Tracy Dion, read by Jonice Abbott-Pratt. Prologue. The police officer's body goes blurry, then sharpens again. I don't dare stare at him directly. I can't really focus on one thing in this room, but when I do, his face shimmers.
And shut behind us when we step into the building's rotunda. I hold up my phone, flashlight app on, then shine it on the directory on the wall beside us. Piano rooms, basement level. My footsteps echo on the wood floor, and the blue-white of my flashlight swings back and forth to find the stairs. Why aren't these buildings locked at night? Sal answers, from just a foot behind me. Administration is aware of tonight's event. They just let them or something and point me to which room I need? I only created the objects. The others hid them. I have no idea which room you need. He flashes a satisfied smile and glower back. We go through 4 rooms in silence. I lift up the lids of the pianos, then down to search under them and their matching benches. In each, the air is stale, and Cell stands much too close for comfort. Mentioning his hellhounds, I don't know what it feels like to cast.
Simon & Schuster Audio presents Blood Marked, Book 2 in the Legend-Born Cycle by Tracy Dion, read by Jonice Abbott Pratt.
For every black girl who was the first. Prologue. My veins burn with the spirits of my ancestors. 24 hours ago, I pulled Excalibur from its stone. Now, I'm paying the price.
They're having trouble, but they're not giving up. My veins turn cold, tight. Then they widen, go hot. They're having trouble because enslavers only care to write down my ancestors' first names, not because that's all they had.
Let him know, Bree Bree.
Nick says, wiping a hand over his mouth. I hate this. I hate that your father probably has the resources to go back that far and find my family. I break off, chest tight with the layers of injustice, the sheer density of it. I didn't ask for this. No one in my family asked for this. Some of the anger drains from Nick's face, replaced with a mixture of sorrow and worry. I realize he may not know the truth. You should know why it's me, I insist. In the cave, I had a vision. You should know how Arthur's blood came to be in your veins, he asks quietly. Yes, I know, he murmurs. My father and Isaac figured it out. They were obsessed those first few days trying to understand what happened to the Davises. They followed the power because they think that's the legacy. But that's the thing. The Legend-Born legacy isn't power. It's violence.
All right, Nick.
We let that sit between us. I tried to release Arthur's armor, but I don't know how. Valid gates. She's your king's squire. Is that it? Not a squire. Sel mutters. My king. Your king? Valid cries. If that's true, then... His eyes grow wide. Sel. Take a deep breath. Sel says to me. The hand at my temple is gentle, but his voice and body are as tight as a piano wire. Gone. Sel's voice is still a slur of sounds, but they change, grow fluid. And the cinnamon and spice scent of his ether signature brings me up from that dull place. I open my eyes. His eyes are fixed on my side, a strained grimace on his face. His hands hover an inch above my flesh. Ether shimmers in the space between my body and his palms in a thin layer. Don't move, he grits out. What are you? I've got you. Stay with me. The floating dullness claims me again. But Sel's magic is there on the edges, keeping the darkness at bay. Stay with me, Bree. The light is flooding up my neck and over my throat, into my mouth, my ears covering me. They're reaching for me. It's not painful. They just want to know who I am, why I'm here. His eyes search the ground around me. Who? The dead. Ancestors who died here. I pitch forward, struck by the force of them. Oh God, there's so many. The death and the life, dozens of them. As the barrier closes behind us, Mariah turns, with hands spread wide and the rolling hill of the reclaimed plantation behind her. She smiles. Welcome to Volition, where our will be done. Much less myself. Hey, birthday girl. I feel Sel's eyes on my face from somewhere to my left. Smile, hop down from the garden wall, and move in the direction of his attention. That's me. Sel emerges from the shadows, hands in his pockets. Didn't know your birthday was in November. Not like I know when your birthday is either. He sniffs. June. Ah, I have a present for you, he says, if you'd like. My brows shoot up. You got me a present? He walks closer. It's not a... He looks around, shrugging. It's a present, not a gift. Okay. I breathe a laugh. Now who's the mystery boy? He grins. Oh, that's always been me. You don't listen. You're the most stubborn creature I have ever met. A shiver. And a pause. And you're also the most wondrous being I have ever encountered. Will ever encounter. And I believe there is nothing in this world that you cannot do. I swallow. Oh, I take a beat. Okay. He whispers and drops his hands to reveal my present. The clearing is much, much brighter than before because it is filled with blinking fireflies. They float around us, lights pulsing lazily on and off. There, then invisible again. So many that I can't follow any single insect, but instead feel surrounded by gentle, slow bursts of light. I rotate where we stand, feeling dizzy and delighted at once. There are so many. Sel nods.
It's late in the season for them. I didn't think they'd still be present. But they must like this clearing. He watches me curiously. Do you like it? I grin. I love it. His smile grows until it's reckless. I knew you would. I wrap my arms around his neck and pull him down for a hug without asking. After a beat, his arms encircle my waist. This time, he's the one who tucks his face into my neck and shoulder, mumbling, "Happy birthday, Bree."
You've been gone for weeks. If I'm undecided, you decide for me. Baby, I'm doing things wrong. I'll try things wrong. I'll try. 'Cause you're on my mind. Oh, killer. I'm feeling like it's like 'cause you're always on my mind. Oh, killer. Getting on my nerves, getting on my knees, getting back my feet. That's so hard to do. So I hate your heart, so I can't see. Baby, I'm doing things wrong. I'm trying to think wrong. I find myself in the moonlight.
Hello, let me stand really close so you can actually see the state that I'm in. So I have finished my reread. We are finished with the reread. I finished listening to Bloodmarked, I think like 2 days ago now. And that reread in particular was absolutely necessary. One, because the second read through was even more enjoyable than the first time. I loved Bloodmarked the first time around. While I loved it and thought it was amazing, I was still kind of missing something that I got with Legendborn, which is to be expected with a sequel, especially a sequel with any series. And I know a lot of that, as usual, is to do with me and where I am. Also, I was on a different medication back then when I read Bloodmarked the first time. So the way I processed things was differently. So this reread in the audiobook experience, just being told the story, I guess. This time around, I was even more invested. I was even more emotional. I wanted to fight even more for my baby girl Bree and my baby boy Selwyn and my baby boy Nicholas, in that order. But also, I forgot a lot of the things that happened. Not a lot. There were some points that I forgot, I guess, or just pushed to the back of my mind. Like, I completely forgot Bree accidentally put Alice in a coma. I think, well, essentially it was Arthur, not Arthur Timothy Reed. And yeah, I forgot about that. That broke my heart. I forgot about the ticketing. What was I trying to say? The hijacking, the extent of Arthur's possession and hijacking of Bree at the end, and also how I forgot the last chunk of the book post Firefly scene. So I'm so glad to have that fresh in my mind and to still be at that heightened emotional stressed out state as I go into Oathbound, which I am starting today. Today's the day. I got new annotating tabs for this and everything. I'm ready. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. I got fresh, I got showered, I got moisturized, so I could sit down and fully enjoy this moment and just be in the right state of mind to go into this, what I know is going to wreck me. My reading choices this month were really a choice. I really chose to emotionally decimate myself just all through the month. It's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. Let's do this. I know Tracy's gonna hurt me so much. forgot my sticker. Good afternoon. This is my second day reading Oathbound. I finished the very, very long prologue last night. It's 5 chapters of a prologue, I believe. Hey Tracy, quick question. What's wrong with you? what is wrong with you? In this really, really long prologue, we find out Bree has essentially unknowingly oath-bound herself to the Shadow King, demon man. He's taken her under his wing and is training her, but he's taken Excalibur from her. This ugly man keeps saying that Selwyn is far beyond bringing back from his descent into Demonia, and now he's claiming that this is an attempt to help her control her root and like fulfill her wishes or whatever. He has done something to her that has erased everybody and all of her memories of them from her mind. They're just blank spaces. Sel, Nick, Alice. The last 6 months with her dad. I'm going to hurt someone, okay? Because what do you mean? What is wrong with you, Tracy Dion? And now he's manipulating her to think that if she tried to go back to them, they would be hurt because she can't remember them when it's not her fault. Nick pivots so that we can all see him clearly. He scans the small group of gathered Legendborn first, pausing on Donovan, then casts his gaze upward to the silent and shadowed lieges tucked away and hidden on the balcony above, as if he can see them clearly too. I frown. Only a Merlin can see in the dark. Wait. So, is Sel somehow possessing Nick or being channeled through Nick? One, if he's gone full demon, doesn't he have that ability now? And when they had that like weird little mental mage bond moment, what if like some sort of switcheroo happened there? Somehow Sel is like up here. Because also the way Nick is speaking, the speech patterns are like Sel's. Interesting. Once again, sorry. I thought I could do this before it started flickering. Cannot. So the last I talked to you, I had just finished the prologue. I was just starting this book. And okay, first and foremost, the first 2 chapters, we are in William's point of view. Absolutely love this move. I kind of love the structure that we're going through. Kind of feels like, I could be wrong because I am still very early in the book. I'm only 3 chapters in, but it feels like we're going to be in more like outsider POVs for a little bit. And we're going to see our main characters, some of them at least, outwardly, right? Instead of internally. I also want to say the very first, the header of the chapter is like, it's like 6 seconds after Brianna Matthews disappeared. I'm like, this kind of structure is kind of fun. It feels like a true crime documentary, and that's quite amusing to me. But like I said, We are starting in the first 2 chapters in William's point of view, and it picks up where, like, the moment after Bree's disappearance, where he and Nick have just missed out on rescuing her. Sorry about this piece of hair. I haven't done anything to anything yet, so that's why I'm in the bathroom. Sure. Anywho, Tracy, please, please, Tracy, I really can't deal with anyone else's trauma and like PTSD. And from what William has hinted at so far with Nick's reaction to losing both Cell and Bree, both of his people, my poor sweet boy, and this sort of like almost catatonic state he was in for a while, this sort of shell-shocked type situation. And he's like alluding to the fact that he's seen this before. I really, Trace, can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do this because I have the weight of Bree and all Bree's trauma and all Bree's struggle. I have the weight of Selwyn and Cell's trauma, Cell's struggle, Cell's responsibilities, unfair responsibilities. And I can't do it. I can't do it. And you're gonna make me do it. And like this version of Nick, this unhinged version of Nick is terrifying. It's scary. He's scary. But like, period. Do what you gotta do to get your people back. And like, and it's scary in the way, like, the way he has sort of like dissociated, disconnected himself from his actual like emotions right now and is compartmentalizing. I see myself in that, obviously, which probably isn't, it's also going to make this journey hard to digest, hard to read. He's also just put himself into prison. He's imprisoned himself, or forced the council or whatever to imprison him for murdering what's his chicken in the last book, and declared some sort of something or other that I don't know what that means, because I'm not a part of the Legendborn cycle. I don't speak Welsh. I have no connection to Arthur Pendragon. But it's something big. It's something major. It's something that everyone is kind of rattled by. And I'm like, Nicholas, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm not emotionally prepared. I'm tired. Nick, I'm sleepy. Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at. There's already a lot going on. I'm only 30 chapters in and there's already a lot going on. This book is, how many pages? This book's over 600 pages. This is, look how big this thing is. First of all, look how big this thing is. This is going to be bad for me. And I don't think I fully prepared or understood. Like, I knew, but I didn't know. And now I'm in it, and now it's too late. I agree that Kane is a lost cause. Erebus tilts his head. And what of Brianna? Wrong move, guys. Nick steps back. 6 months ago, the council and its mission would have deemed Brianna Matthews a once-born, an ignorant innocent at best, an expendable nuisance at worst. Yeah, at worst. I myself sponsored her entry into our order, a decision that will haunt me for the rest of my days. A pause. In the months since the revelation of Brianna's true lineages, being born of not one line of power but two, she was lied to and deceived, drugged, imprisoned, tortured, and possessed by the malevolent spirit we scions were raised to worship. and every act against her was not committed by demon-kind enemies, but by the very order that should be kneeling at her feet. This council sought to break Brianna Matthews, and found it could not. I think you are fortunate that she has not sought vengeance against you, as we all are. Eviscerate them, Nicholas Davis. To answer your question, I will not pursue Bree, because even if she is with an enemy, I know that she will survive, which is a far better fate than what awaits her here. That man does not play about his girl. Y'all should have left that alone. That man does not play about his girl. That boy does not play about his girl. Oh, Nicholas, the man that you are. The man boy that you are, Nicholas. You dance with treason today, Scion Davis. If treason is truth, then perhaps I do. Or perhaps I merely tire of your version of loyalty. Nick levels his gaze hard and flinty at the older man. I was raised by my father under the Order's philosophies. I heard him speak daily of the rights and access he deserved, and that he claimed I was owed. You have made me parentless twice over, Regents. I am an orphan of your court. I have lived beneath your violence. I have seen what you seek to hide, not just here but everywhere. And in my time away from this court, I have seen and felt your truths more clearly than ever. What truths? Your supremacy, Nick says. Your misogyny, your racism, your cowardice. Aldrich snarls, Scion Davis, I only state out loud that which you enact in plain sight. That which we can all see, if we can stand to bear witness. Will you punish me for doing so, your chosen son? The Regents are silent. I know they are. Brianna Matthews cannot be the only voice that speaks against you. Nick's face turns derisive, a bright fury rising beneath his skin. Not when she bears our burdens for us and goes unprotected. Not when you erase her humanity to guard your own power and protect our whiteness. The king that you are. King. A king. Aldrich and Gabriel both sputter, while Kestra's face turns red. The High Regent shoots her. Scion Davis, I'm not done. Nick roars back. And I wasn't just talking to you. Nick turns to the room. Exactly, Nicholas. To the other scions and squires, to the lieges up above. We have to know these sins. We have to name them, not only in Bree's presence. At this, Nick looks at the southern chapter, at me, William, but in her absence too. And first, whoa. Whoa. My boy is standing on business, and I love him. Nick has jumped so much higher in my heart. He might not be the Scion of Arthur anymore, but he is still acting as the king he was raised to be. So then William's feeling sorry for himself. Love you, but a full-chested wave of immobilizing shame swamps me. Did I ever name the forces that Bree faced? Did I ever call them what they were, full-voiced in front of her? Or did I hope that she would understand that I knew them? Did I hope she would know my heart without seeing me declare it before others? And that part was a little too real. That's a little too real as someone who's realizing the way people, friends, how did he say it? Are still not quick to name the forces me, people who look like me, and Bree face, you know? And I don't understand that matters. It's like there's a difference between being an ally and an accomplice. Actions and words, you know? I trust William will rectify that. I love William. It's not about William. I trust William. But Nicholas Davis, I don't remember his middle name. Do we know his middle name? We know Sal's middle name. Wow. I see you. I see you, Nicholas. Bree and Sel would be so proud of this moment. Because I know if he were there, he'd be like, period. And that's on period. Because Selwyn has always called out. Oh, I'm so glad. Hello. I am just getting in. I had my very first physical therapy appointment today for my ankle. I don't think I've mentioned here. I've been dealing with a lot of like pain in my ankle when I walk, and I figured it was tendonitis. I was right. Anyway, that being said, I haven't done as much reading as I wanted to today. I have finally made it to part 2 of this book. Before I say anything about part 2, two things. 1, Selwyn is awake and sort of communicating with his mother, so my theory about him and Nick has been debunked. 2, I like Mariah, I really, really do. I just need her to buck up and get her confidence together, because the way she's constantly comparing herself to others, particularly Bree, and now Alice, is a little irksome. But I guess in some way it's like an inspiration type thing, an aspirational type thing. But I feel like we're at a turning point where she is going to start coming into her own, which I really am very glad for. Also, do we think she and Alice are going to get together at the end of this? 1, because Alice is going to survive. Alice is going to pull through. Do you hear me? Thank you. So anyway, I just flipped the page for part 2. And the first chapter in part 2 starts in Bree's POV. So, like I thought, this next this next part of the book will most likely be following the big 3, and will be in their heads this time. So the first part we were like on the outside looking in, and now we're gonna be with them, following their motivations and arc, which is great, because I'm like, all right, this is Bree's book. Can we get in Bree's head? Where's Bree? Where's Brianna? But this was a great setup. I'm a little nervous about everything that's going to happen to me, but let me stop talking. I'm behind and thirsty. Chat for a couple seconds, please. I am this far into Oathbound. I'm on page 324, and I have some things I need to talk about. I was supposed to talk about them yesterday, but I was just so caught up in my reading. I did not want to slow down and take time away from everything going on to discuss and digest. So now I'm going to discuss and digest so I can move on. There's a lot going on at the same time, but we're getting very close to it all coming together. Let's take a little trip back to page 222 and truthfully, we can start at like 266. Would you say?
I thought you said 222.
I think I might have said 222, but I meant 272. Let's go back to page 266 through 272. So what I'm going to say, Martin Davis, I know you're dead. I'm glad you're dead. But I'm also not glad you're dead because now I can't wish that on you. What I want is to spit on your rotting corpse. Martin Davis. Hell is not hot enough. It's not hot enough. It's not hot enough. Hell is not hot enough for that man. So in chapter whatever this is, I think, what chapter did I say this was? Chapter 22. We are in William's point of view, and William is finally explaining to Lark why he sticks so close to Nick, why he joined this quest and insists on remaining beside Nick as his healer, as Nick is his patient, and why he insists on that, and what it is basically finally that he saw in Nick that was referenced in the beginning of the book after Bree disappeared. And it goes back to right after the night that Bree pulled Excalibur from the stone, and they found out the truth about their bloodlines. And after she's like passed out after the fight and the attack, and Nick's spiraling. Nick is having this whole meltdown about like the fact that Bree has to learn all of this stuff. Bree deserves better and shouldn't have to be a part of this war, this lifestyle on the level that she is now. She shouldn't have to deal with Arthur and the regents and the responsibilities and whatever. And basically, this is the first time anyone truly goes into detail about the abuse Nick and Sel were put through in the name of training growing up. And it's sick. And it's the first time Nick, talks about really what they did to him and how bad it was, and how all the adults around him covered it up because he was the boy that was to be king, and this was part of his training, and y'all all need to be burnt to a crisp. And it's truly just devastating. And then it turns, because like William struggles initially with like initial belief of what Nick's just told him, especially because his cousin was involved. His cousin is the one that was his cousin who trained him and taught him everything he knows about healing and being the Scion of Gawain, was the one who was responsible for healing Nick and covering up the extent of his injuries, including broken bones, concussions, like things that could have permanently damaged him physically, not just mentally and emotionally. So that makes the spiral worse, right? But then, because like it gets intense, Sel swoops in. He's like, no, actually, no. You're gonna have to back up, William. You're gonna have to back up a few steps. Love you, well, tolerate you, but like, back up off my boy, okay? There's a moment where Sel's the only one that could calm Nick down and like break through the spiral, and I would give anything to know what he said to him, because he's like speaking in his ear. Tracy, I would give anything to have this exact scene from one of the boys' POV. Probably Cell, because Nick is like everywhere, you know? He's not in a good place. Because I just need to know I need to know the details of that moment. Anyway, Martin Davis. That's your kid. And then the fact that his mother, Nick's mother, had successfully, essentially, gotten him out of that, just for them to find them, rip him away from her, or rip her away from him, essentially. And, oh my God, I just burn it all down. Honestly, burn all of it. Destroy it. I'd also like to discuss briefly page 308, or essentially it's the chapter 27 in its entirety, truthfully, where first off, I love how everything is coming together. I love that kind of like the missing of each other at what is that demon's name? Daisy's club, place, office? I don't know. Kind of like missing each other by moments, even though Nastasia and Bree did bump into each other. And this is what leads to chapter 27, where after 4 months of her basically being like Cell's kind of like a little bit normal. He's not like really reacting to my tonics or whatever, but he's not like really demoning out the way I was and why I was expecting him to. But when she comes back from meeting with this demon for whatever reason that we haven't figured out yet, she bumps into Bree, who is there with the twins, brokering, trying to figure out, because they found out this demon allegedly knows where the Shadow King's crown is. That's a whole other storyline I haven't really talked about, but they bump into each other, and like Natasha's like, whoa, I know you. Bree's like, do you know me? And she's like, no, of course not, but like not convincingly at all. Let me stop rambling. Anyway, she goes back and she's like, that was a failure to Cell, who was like behind this ward, basically in a cage. He's like, I don't care. But one thing I want to say, I think it's so funny every time she talks about like his reactions to her and his like, it is anger, but at the same time, girl, you just got yourself a teenage boy. You're just raising your teenage son. I don't know what to tell you. Who also naturally has an attitude problem. But then the AC kicks on. Her hair blows forward. And Edward Cullen over here starts freaking out. Catches Bree's scent and starts freaking all the way out. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh, this isn't good, but I'm intrigued, you know? Because we all know Cell was already feral for Bree, but he couldn't express it, and he had a real good control over it. But that's gone. That's gone, and all he wants, to the point of self-mutilation and self-destruction, is to get to Bree, because she's all he wants. For whether to be with her or to feed on her, probably both. I'm gonna be real with you. At the point where he's like fighting his mom, and she's like, I can't let you go. I'm so sorry. And like I get it. I really do, because we know Miss Nastasia Kane was in love with Faye Matthews, or whatever her maiden name was. And now to her it's starting to make sense now that she has just found out that Faye was her scion of Arthur, whether or not either of them knew about it. Like mother, like son, you know? But yeah, this scene is real wild, real intense. He's trying to literally break through this ether ward like a cage, and his skin's like burning off just to get to Bree's scent to find out where she is. And I'm like, relax. Oh my God. Because like, I don't know. I can't get a read. I don't know. While I firmly believe that them finding each other will help both of them, I don't know what's going to happen before that. Like, I don't want him to hurt her or try to hurt her in any sort of way. Because one, for me, but also I know it's gonna make things bad between both of them. And I don't want that. I also hope that he is more regulated, more balanced before he is reunited with Nicholas. Because if the three of them are back together in any sort of capacity, I don't think that it's going to go smoothly. I don't think someone is going to be willing to share Bree's affections, even though Nick just stated very firmly to the Morganes that Bree is not his girlfriend. But that's what you missed on Glee. Nicholas, Sel asked, voice even, "Are you all right?" Nick's teeth had ground together. "I'm fine." Sel moved past me toward his charge, swift and steady, to wrap his hand around Nick's elbow. Nick faced me as Sel faced the window. When Sel leaned close, bringing his mouth to Nick's ear, I saw the way that Nick's shoulders rose to his ears, then dipped, relaxing at Sel's touch. I saw the way he shuddered, the anguish still there working through him. I couldn't hear the words the King's Mage whispered to his scion. All I could witness was how these words washed over Nick, making his eyelids flutter. All I could do was observe as Nick nodded and finally slowly unclenched his jaw. I heard Nick's first deep, ragged breath. I heard him murmur, "I know." And when someone spoke again, Nick shook his head. "I'm sorry. Do not apologize. When did this slide over? Sorry." Sel's grip tightened until Nick met his King's Mage's eyes. Something silent and deep passed between them, an understanding, a grace, and I feel like I deserve to know. And maybe this conversation will come up in the future. Maybe we'll have a scene where Nick says the words back to Sel to like bring him back. I just feel like I deserve to know. And then we skip down a little bit. Nick brought his empty palm over Sel's at his elbow, squeezing Sel's fingers once. After another moment, Sel nodded and let Nick go to sit back against the windowsill, eyes stony. "Thank you for your assistance, William," Sel said as he turned his face to me, voice firm and formal, "but I have it from here. Bree needs, I have them both. Before I go, can we talk about..." I call it ether from my free palm, and Lark's hand tightens on my elbow. "Will," he says, eyeing my gauntlet and new-formed dagger. "Will, don't do this." "Let me go," I growled. "William," Lark glances overhead. "Please." I feel my eyes burn. The world begins to turn green. "Larkin, I am warning you." Lark steps close, whispering, "Sweetheart, honey." Sweetheart? Honey? We are using these words now? I feel fine. Honestly, all that talking, I forgot to finish my actual original point, which was that all of the pieces are seeming to fall into place, putting all of our separated parties back in the same place for one reason or another, one circumstance or another. Bree is going to be at this shindig that's held by some demon broker. Bree is going with Zoe. Nick, presumably Nick and the, what are they called? Morganes. Ooh, Morganes, or maybe just what's her chicken, are going to be there. I'm sure now that Sel has Bree's scent, he's gonna end up there. And I think I said this before, I'm kind of scared about what I'm excited that it seems like we're all gonna be forced back together, but I'm nervous that it's not gonna go well because each person of the trio is very fractured right now, and it's not gonna go the way I want it to go. I know that for a fact. So remember when I was talking to you yesterday and I was giving you a whole rundown of where we were in Oathbound? Fully intended to read after that. Spend my whole, day reading the way I usually do. Instead, I had me a little gummy gum, and made this. It's a little crochet heart. I'm going to see Halsey in June. Yeah, June. And for right after I got the tickets, I had a vision that I wanted to make my top for that show. And I wanted to make a heart-shaped crop top situation. Being that I haven't done that, and I didn't know if my vision was really going to come to fruition, especially because of the girlies. I wanted to do a practice top. And what started as me not being able to focus on reading. Also, I took this peach cherry flavored gum while also being completely suddenly exhausted and drained. But anywho, so I couldn't read anyway, and it was freaking me out a bit, and I'm really trying to work on the unhealthy attachment I have to reading. But anyway, I was starting to get antsy. I needed something to do with my hands, so I did the entirety of this in one sitting. So whilst the blues were shifting, and by it's one blue, it really is. It's this nice royal blue, but the whole time I was crocheting this, it was a blue shifting into a nice little turquoise robin's egg blue shade. But I did it, and I want to add a white trim, and because it turned out relatively well, I'm kind of really impressed. I'm just gonna make a top out of it and wear it throughout the summer. So at least I succeeded somewhere. So today I have to run out to the store, but also happy Easter. Hello, it's Easter to all those who celebrate. After that, I have to catch up. I have to do a lot of catching up. If I want to finish this book within my self-appointed schedule, that will not alter anything if I don't adhere to it. Anyway, I gotta go. My mom's waiting for me. I have a Red Bull to finish. So I'll see you when I have something important to talk about, or just to show off this finished product. Love a forced proximity moment. Okay, I think the last time I was talking to you, we were kind of leading up to the moment where so many of our parties were going to unknowingly be reunited, and Brie and Zoe, Mariah, and Nicholas have all arrived. They're all at this the little auction gala thingy, and have all been reunited. They are all grappling, by they all I mean Nick as well as Mariah, grappling with the gaps in Brie's memory. But where Brie and Nick both ended up are there in an attempt to steal essentially the what was it, the Scorpion King, the Shadow King's crown. They end up both in the basement where this artifact allegedly is, and they are reunited when they via combat, because they both end up in the basement together, and they are fighting. And then where was I going with this? Anyway, they're reunited. Nick and Mariah are kind of having to grapple with, like I said, the gaps in Bree's memory. Oh, that's what I was saying. But because an outside force kind of tripped the wards and the security, that paired with an injured warlock guard, the auction has been put off, and all the guests are forced to stay at this mansion for the weekend, which means Nicholas and Brianna are forced together because they were caught together. Essentially, they had to quickly form a ruse so as not to be suspected. They were caught making out in an elevator, and now Bree is posing as his fiance, which means they are forced together for the entirety of the weekend. So we have forced proximity, and there was only one bed. There was only one room. Anywho, so I know this is going to be an interesting turn in this plot. Nicholas Davis is hanging on. Nicholas Davis is not handling this well. He is not handling this well. He is freaking out. He is hanging on by a thread. He does not know how he is going to handle being around Bree. I assume it's because like he's still willing. She chose to leave, so he's willing to like let her go, let her be free, and let her be safe away from the order and whatnot. And also whatever his mission, whatever he's doing on the side. But yeah, my boy's going through it, and Bree doesn't really understand the extent to which he's going through it. But at the same time, while she doesn't like remember him per se, her body and like she's still reacting to him in a way that her brain, her memories aren't caught up to and don't understand. So she is still feeling essentially everything she would normally be feeling around Nick, but she doesn't necessarily understand why. But he does. So poor little Pookie. Poor little Pookie. Hi. So we're still in the mansion. It's still this unsuspected weekend. And forget demonic Gatsby, which is what they call Mikhail, the demon host who you know essentially has them trapped like little dolls on a dollhouse. This is demonic Caesar Flickerman. Basically, in an attempt to figure out like who these would-be thieves are, he is hosting these, what are they called? Is it communals? Whatever. Where he's interviewing specific guests and using his like ether powers to elicit the truth, and also to feed on truths in a form of tribute. But these interviews, especially when we get, because Nick and Bree were not in the ballroom when like everything kicked off, so now they're suspects, and Nick has gotten Mikhail to agree to let him take on 10 questions for him and Bree, as opposed to each of them going and taking 5, because there's no way she could have really lied her way out of being the one that injured the guard and being a thief, and then the result will be her death. And this whole confessional interview, if you will, it's really giving If It Wasn't for the Baby. It's really giving it's really giving Hunger Games tribute interviews. It really, so this demonic Caesar Flickerman, Stanley Tucci who, you know? Y'all. I'm gonna call him Michael just for ease right now. Michael's eyes narrow at both of us, then turn back to Nick. I must say, Benedict, I wonder if there's something in this tale you're not divulging. Something you are holding back. Tell me about this friend and you're Iris. Do you think there exists between them something other than friendship? Nick's head jerks up, his own eyes flashing with anger. Michael scoops that up too, folding it between an open palm. Answer the question. I don't think it. Nick's chin twists to the side. He fights another answer before it erupts from between his clenched teeth. I know it. The audience gasps behind me. Mariah's hand clenches my thigh. My heart thunders in my ears. For months now, all I've known of Selwyn Kane is what others have told me. I guessed that Sel and I had shared something, but I didn't know. Assumed no one did. That whatever we shared, there were no witnesses. Oh, baby girl. But when I see Nick's face, the hard line of his jaw and the stone certainty of his gaze, I know that whatever Sel and I shared had been witnessed, had been known, maybe earlier and more clearly than either of us realized. Do share more, Benedict. Michael urges. How do you know this? I know it because I know them, and I know why there would be intimacy between them. So here's my thing. I forget where we what part we were, but they were talking about Sel and his, I guess, defense or protectiveness over Bree, and it's the way Nick said, I don't remember the rest of the sentence, but the way he said, she's his king. And I'm like, did he witness the balcony Caryad debacle? I don't think, there's no way he could have. I don't think he was there. But like, there's, the way it was delivered was like he knew more, you know, than we know he knows. Anywho, I see. Michael leans forward. And how does that make you feel? Nick blows out a shallow laugh. A lot of things. Michael frowns. You must name one. No, two. And why? Nick hesitates, his eyes blah, 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 blah. He turns to me, holding my gaze. Relief. Our lives are hard, short. They both deserve happiness where they find it. And Nick's throat bobs. I watch a flurry of emotions cross his features so quickly that I can't identify them all. Without looking at Michael, he finally answers. Heartache. Because I don't know what or how I'd feel if their happiness is found with each other. Oh, this is honestly, to me it feels like he's speaking on both sides, not just Bree, truthfully. Even though like in this moment, like he's confessing to Bree all this stuff and all his deepest feelings for her, but like the three of them need each other, you know? Anyway, this book has like really elevated my appreciation and love for Nick. I've always loved Nick, obviously, but the soft spot in my heart, my deep love for Selwyn Kane kind of took precedence, and especially because like Bloodmarked is like alongside Bree. I'm never going to be one of those girlies that decenters Bree from her book, from her story, from her arc. Alongside that, Bloodmarked is like very Sel. It's Sel's arc around and with Bree, and he is kind of sidelined in this book, and this book is Nicholas and Bree, Brickolas, if you will. So now that that is like centered in where we're at, Nick is like, the relationship with Nick is like the focus. I'm like, you know what? I see you, Nicholas Martin. So yeah, that place in my heart for Nick is like expanding, like the Grinch, you know. No, no. You're gonna have to tell me right here, right now. You're gonna have to tell me right here, right now, what the mother F is embedded in Nick's chest. What is this? What does it mean? What did Ava do? I want her dead. I'm so over her. Oh my god, I want her gone. I want her gone. Like, the Morgans, you're valid. I get it. Okay. But enough, okay? What does this mean? What is this? Nick, what did you do? Nick, what did you do? Nicholas, Nicholas Davis, what did you do? Oh my God. Good afternoon from me and my Red Bully. I have 50-ish pages left of Oathbound. Today is the day that I finish this book, that I will have conquered the beast. There's a lot going on right now since the last time I spoke to you. First and foremost, the Rootcrafter girls have all been rescued from the Institute, and honestly that was like the most beautiful scene in this whole book. There were so many tears shed reading just like Bree witnessing these girls being rescued, these girls that the order and the regents just assumed that people would not look for, that would be forgotten. These Rootcrafter girls, these black girls that were being trafficked and bid on, being saved and rescued, and I cried. Also, speaking of black girls, I haven't mentioned yet how much I adore this trio of Bree, Mariah, and Zoe. Absolutely, I love them so much, and I can't wait for more of them. Nicholas and Brianna, yep, have connected at the where are they? The lodge. And Bree is ready to burn it all down. And I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. To quote Nicholas Davis, my blade is yours. You know? Let's do it. Let's burn it to the ground. I'm so excited. I know this last 50 pages, do you mind? It's going to be a doozy. This whole book has been a doozy after a doozy after a doozy. And we still don't know what's going on with Cell. We don't know where Cell is. I don't know what's going to happen when Cell catches up to these people, and that's the thing that's stressing me out the most, because all the rest of these reunions have gone pretty smoothly. We are working with what we got. We're working and determined to restore to the best that we can Bree's memories, her knowledge of who she is and who these people are. We don't know if that's going to work, because as we've discovered, because of her destroying her ancestral plane or whatever, the Shadow King was able to steal a piece of her soul, and we don't know if it's destroyed or if we can get it back, and that's how he was able to wipe her memory. That didn't go well with Valak at all, and so they had a little blow up. And look, I get it. I get why. You're right, but also relax. Brianna's a child. Y'all are asking way too much of her, and people are finally understanding that, like, you've all been putting so much on this kid, you know? And what if she doesn't want to deal with it? That's within her right. I know 17-year-old Amber Dior. No, you wouldn't have got through the first book with me. I'm just being real. No. Maybe the first book, because in the first book she was trying to figure out what really happened with her mother. But once they're like, you're part of this order, I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. But yeah, so my plan for the day, by the day, hopefully within like just the next couple of hours, is to finish this book and then finish the top that I showed you the other day. Let me show you. It's mostly finished. I did the trim and the little halter neckline. I'm just sewing the panels on. I'm attaching the panels, and then I have to weave in loose ends, and then it'll be done, and maybe I'll show you what it looks like on. I'm actually really proud of it, considering that it was a practice top and that I did the majority of it a little elevated, you know? Anyway, happy Wednesday. Tracy, I'm warning you. I did this to myself. I did this to myself. Tracy. Tracy. Tracy, what do you mean? What do you mean by this?